Alright, so I had to open up a Diet Pepsi for this one. So, we live in the United States of America, but yet I just don't feel so united. Today we lost Charlie Kirk at a rally in Utah. He was assassinated and shot in the neck. And I watched the close-up videos, and it is completely sad. Super, super sad. And he did not deserve that. No matter his political point of view, or him debating, or him just speaking words in general, he definitely did not deserve to get shot in the fucking neck. He didn't deserve to get shot at all. So, yep. Got some pictures of him. And we're gonna watch some news stories about it. So, yeah, that's my YouTube studio. So, pretty sad. Pretty fucking shitty. You know, you shouldn't wish that upon anybody, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. And it's mainly Democrats that wish bad things upon people. But, yeah.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put. For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that see criminals to prey on innocent people. Really, very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh my God. Cody, go, run, run. Oh.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
What the fuck?
Alright, we gotta watch Asmongold. We have to. That's so fucked up.
Hey guys, it's me again, and it's been a little while. Just before I get into the main topic of the video, I want to explain why there haven't been any videos. My dad has been in the hospital for the better part of a week now. Very serious situation. It has required my full attention. And because of that, I've been on calls. I've been
Praying for your dad, brother.
Talking to members of the family.
Praying for your dad.
And doing everything that I need to be there for my dad and for my family during this situation. And because of that, I haven't been live and I haven't made a lot of videos.
You know it's serious too when he's recording from his webcam and not his camera.
That being said, we had something insane happen today, and I was able to break away a little bit earlier, and I wanted to make a video about it and talk about the obvious and inevitable nature of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This happened a few hours ago, and it was probably one of the most gruesome and graphic, and this is coming from somebody who grew up on LiveLeak, videos I've ever seen. The first time I saw a video, I thought it was AI generated. The guy gets shot in the neck, and blood is spurting out. I didn't even know it could do that. And it was absolutely fucking horrifying to see something like that happen in front of a massive audience of people.
Was
now, if you don't know who
completely
Charlie Kirk is, Charlie
drenching.
Kirk has been a pretty noteworthy like controversial guy. He's a conservative. He goes to a lot of college campuses, does live debates. This is a pretty popular format nowadays, and Charlie Kirk has been popularizing it and utilizing it now for many years, and he was even featured in South Park recently because of it. Charlie Kirk definitely is not a super radical right-wing person,
Correct.
but I would say that he's more of the moderate to, kind of extreme right-wing. Very, very, I would say, lukewarm, though, in my opinion, at least especially, and this is where we're going, especially compared to now. And what I think is going to happen now, because obviously these shootings like this don't really happen inside of a vacuum, and they never do, they never have. And I think that the situation that we have right now is that there is a tremendous amount of political violence that is advocated for, promoted, and allowed to exist on social media that has turned up the temperature in all political conversations, all social conversations, and all discourse on the internet in general, to a point where it's almost unrecoverable. You have people that are out there all the time advocating for violence, advocating for people to get killed. Somebody needs to take care of this guy. Somebody needs to deal with this. I wish he were dead. Won't somebody do it? The 8647, all of the crypto messaging and all the doxing, right? Why do you dox somebody? Why do you post the person's home address? It's to make other people that are insane, like the person who killed Charlie Kirk, it's to give them the ammunition they need to kill that person.
Also, I just want to say, yeah, like, you can't ever be mad at anybody I don't know, because I think the Republicans are far more ready than the Democrats are. I just think the Republicans don't initiate because they kind of have a tighter sense of when to use it and when not to. And like, there's plenty of people that are Democrats that I don't like. I would never in a million years wish death and harm upon them at all. And there are plenty of Republicans that I don't fucking like either. And I wouldn't wish death and harm, like, I would consider myself that way, but like, I don't like 70 or 65% of Trump's cabinet, the other 45 to 55 is pretty good, I'll agree. But no matter who you are, like, even if it's someone you completely don't agree with, like, it's a debate. Like, it's just speech. It's just talking things out. Like, you ever been so mad at somebody you want to fight them, but then you de-escalate the situation by talking out the situation? Like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to lead to, like, death and destruction and like, someone never getting to see their kids again and never getting to see their wife again. And now for the rest of those kids' lives and the rest of the wife's lives and his family's lives are never going to be the same. And I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. Like, you can say, like, for example, you can be like, oh, Kamala Harris, like, stupid bitch, like, ha ha ha. But I would never be like, I hope she dies. I hope someone kills her. Like, no, not at all. Not even Gavin Newsom. And I think he's a fucking retard. He still doesn't deserve that. No one does.
And to put that person's life in danger. That's why they're doing it. And so that's the reason why they want to find out the identities of ICE agents. That's the reason why they want to find out the identities of Tesla owners, like at the beginning of the year. It's so they can destroy their car and destroy their lives. And this isn't necessarily a one-sided thing. I think that in the last 5 years or so, especially since BLM, it's been a, like, 90%
that makes sense,
left-wing thing. But that doesn't mean that the 10% right-wing people are right either. But I do think that now you're going to see a lot more right-wing people balancing out those scales. The fact is that you can take a knife to a gunfight all you want, and you can think that you're honorable, but you're going to end up being dead. And I think that's what right-wing people have done
What side do you
for
lean
a
on?
very long
Vertical?
time. They've tried to speak above the political violence. They've tried to advocate above it and not try to stoop down to that level. But the
You
issue
more right
is
or
that
you more left?
a lot of these social media
I know things in
companies
Germany are
have
pretty fucking crazy
expressed
too.
literally zero desire
and
to
UK,
even do the
like
bare minimum
people
of
just can't be
moderation.
united. Like
I
people
think
just
that
can't
two of the
live
worst
together and
actors are
exist.
Twitter or
Because
X
everyone has so
and,
many different
Reddit.
opinions
Both
about
of these
how shit
platforms
should
are full
be
of a
ran,
bunch
and
of extremist
people don't
nut
agree, and it just
that
becomes
not
a
only
fucking
should have their
nut
accounts
house.
banned, but they should probably be put in mental institutions. And I think that now, I find it to be kind of interesting taking a step back for a week or so and seeing how many people are coming around to the inevitable reality that this is the only path forward. There are so many people in society now that are just completely unhinged, under-medicated, and really just completely insane, that you can't have a person like that running wild out in society. They cause problems for
I
themselves,
think
not
I'm
to mention
slightly
everybody
to
else around
a
them.
right side,
And I think
but
that
again,
the
I'm
society
seeking for
we need
truth.
to have an honest conversation.
That's what we're all
as
doing.
people.
Like we're all seeking for truth. But the thing is for me, I feel like one side has a specific set of morals that are like, hey, these morals have been around. And the other side's like, yeah, fuck morals. Like, do what you want, be who you want to be, like, fuck whoever, blah, 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 only care about yourself. And, I think people need to quit caring about their self and care about their community and care about others and quit fucking being so selfish all the time and thinking that they are just 100%, the earth revolves around them and what they say is right, and if anyone disagrees with it, then we got a fucking problem.
People in a way that, and I'll be real, I don't really care about the people that are crazy. Their well-being and the way that things are for them. Of course, obviously, I wouldn't want it to be bad, but it's certainly not important. What's really important is all of the people who aren't crazy, making sure that people that are not crazy, that are good actors, that are law-abiding citizens, are able to live a life of peace, a life of prosperity, and a life without fear of going on the subway, for example, as at the recent event as well. And I think that every single person in the world deserves to live in a place like that.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
I don't want to see, America turn into a PvP server, and
Nope.
it sure seems like it
Hell
is.
no.
And
You
I
don't
think that
respond.
in order to prevent that from happening, we need to have honest conversations about what do you do with people that get arrested 14 times. And it's not even a question, right? You put them in jail and you throw away the key, and you compel them to work, and that way you can make the money back from imprisoning them forever. That's the way that you solve that problem. It's very simple, actually. But for some reason, the way that makes people feel has made them unwilling to look at this obvious truth. If you look in history, this is what we've always done in history, and it's because it works. And the problem is that now we have so much of the discourse that's dominated by emotional thinking, that's dominated by the most unstable, the most virtue signal, the most, ridiculous, performative empathy possible, and that's defining a huge political voice in the country. This has become a tremendous detriment to everyone. And I think that with people like the shooter that probably shot Charlie Kirk, with that guy in the subway that stabbed that Ukrainian woman, or with that trans shooter that shot up the school, one thing that's common among all of them is that these people, in almost all cases, were
So especially hope it's not a Ukrainian. So you think...
until we can stump...
So why do you think it would be a Ukrainian? Because if it were, we are who is in Ukraine are fucked. You know what? That's a good fucking point. Honestly. That is a good point. Because if it was a Ukrainian, you can fucking kiss that peace treaty Trump is working for. Bye. Bye. And he is letting Putin fucking unleash all hell. Guarantee it. That's a good point. But my other point, though, is who'd the foreigner get the gun from? Because the foreigner can't get the gun to America without a license to board it through the TSA on the plane. And they can't buy the gun legally because they're a foreigner. So where'd they get the gun from if they are a foreigner, you know? But that's a good fucking thought.
The idea of solving problems like that before they happen, we're going to keep having problems. And I think that with Charlie Kirk, it's very obvious.
You think like
the amount of,
you think like somebody from the other country that country's in war with hired the person from the other country to come over here and shoot him to cause a conflict? That's crazy. Yeah. See, I don't buy my guns that way. I just buy my guns good old-fashioned American way with an ID. But here's the thing, though, too. Just because I have a gun and I own guns and I like shooting them at the range, I don't ever want to have to use it. And that's how most Americans should think. Guns are for safety. And yes, they're for some leisure and going and shooting targets and having fun. But you don't ever want to have to put the responsibility in your hands of taking someone's life away with it. That's it. Like, you know.
Encouraged. And the problem is that now people are acting on it. And you're starting to see this happen, and I think it's going to continue getting worse. I don't think Charlie Kirk is going to be the last one, but I think that we will look at Charlie Kirk's death and see it as a turning point in this topic. And what I'm really trying to get at here with this entire point is that right now we are at an extremely pivotal moment. And I think that what's going to end up happening is that right-wing people are not going to continue to turn the other cheek. They're not going to continue to just, this is just a crazy left-wing radical. I think you're probably going to see right-wing people doing the same thing to left-wing people. And honestly, while I don't think this is a good thing, I certainly don't really feel that's
and there are a lot of left-wing people have no problem. There are no news about Charlie and Ukraine media. Literally nothing. I know this because I'm sitting on X. I would get on X right now, but I don't want the graphic content of him getting shot show up, and it messes up my... I don't want it to show up and then, messes up my ability to be on Twitch. But I've seen the videos, and, maybe Ukraine doesn't know, because, again, they're focused on a war with Russia right now. Like, maybe they're not worried about what's going on in America. That could be another possibility, I don't know. Now, I know Charlie Kirk wasn't the biggest fan of sending our money to Ukraine for them to defend themselves, but, I mean, if that's the case, like, I still don't think he deserved to lose his life over his opinion. Like, I have seen it. Like, you've seen no fucking, you've seen no, what? What have you seen? Everything that happens in America currently affects Ukraine's interest and safety. It could be right. I've seen the graphical content you have mentioned.
Agree with. That's what's happening.
Well,
and there's no talking around.
Yeah.
It. And to the extent that you try to, you're insulting the intelligence of anyone who speaks. And I think that lot of right-wing people end up doing this to left-wing people now even more, because it's very clear that these social media platforms are not going to moderate this behavior. The FBI, for whatever reason, just refuses to deal with or have any degree of accountability for dealing with these obvious terrorists that are in the country. And because of that, I think you're going to start seeing an uptick of violence from right-wing people as well. And this is going to be, in my opinion,
Yep.
I don't really think the word is justified, because it's not justified, but the word is expected. I think it's going to be expected. The fact is that, again, you bring a knife to a gunfight, you're going to lose. And don't be surprised when you keep bringing guns to gunfights and then somebody else decides to start shooting back. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think this is a degradation of society as a whole. And ultimately, the real burden of responsibility here doesn't really fall on influencers, and I don't think that it falls even on the commenters themselves. I think it falls primarily on the government. The fact is that the government, there are already laws that permit, explicit calls to violence. There's already laws that permit the types of stalking and doxing that people engage in online. And one of the big things that is a misconception is that people like me want new laws. We want any form of extra censorship at all. I certainly don't want that, and I don't know anybody else that does either. But what we do want is we want the existing laws to be applied and to be
Yep.
enforced in
Yep.
an accurate and efficient, which is clearly
Yep.
not what's happening. And really, the government not doing that and giving this asymmetrical, in my opinion, advantage to left-wing people to fully and with complete freedom practice genuine terrorism on a daily basis, and then congratulate each other about how moral and how good they are for doing it because something bad that happened in Palestine, or something bad that Donald Trump did 3 years ago. This is just simply
This is true.
the response. This is what's going to happen. And so, and I think that that's probably what it's going to take for these left-wing people to realize what a bad idea what they've been doing is. Because until it starts happening to them, until they start having people that are their friends, or their like icons that they look up to, the same way people looked up to Charlie Kirk, until they start seeing those people get killed, I don't think it's really going to be real for them. And unfortunately, I think that's the path that we're headed down, because of the government and social media companies and every other seemingly governmental apparatus that has
Yep.
just completely hand-waved this problem and ignored it entirely. So the death of Charlie Kirk and the assassination of him should not come as a surprise to anyone. This should be something that everybody could have expected. All you had to do is read Twitter for an hour and you could have told me this would have happened, of course. Same with Reddit. And until that core problem is addressed, you will continue to see a rapid decline in any type of social discourse. And I'm actually kind of afraid to see what's going to happen next, because I think it's just going to continue getting worse, and I don't see the reason for it to stop. And so anyway, I wanted to make this video because it's obviously a topic that, I've been talking about this a lot for the past few years now, and I was laughed at a lot, and people were telling me it wasn't that big of a deal, and they were joking. Well, I saw the video. That wasn't a joke. And the reality is that those jokes and everything create a culture and an environment where the actual actions are more permissible. And you also have people that are the ones telling me, quote, jokes, that are talking around just, directly, saying that this is a bad thing and it shouldn't be tolerated for any reason. You have, I don't want to go through a bunch of different names, but anybody, this is the way I look at it, I'm just going to make a categorical judgment here, is that any content creator or anybody like this who has been advocating for violence against a person in an extrajudicial way. I'm not talking about trying people who they disagree with for treason. This is advocating for the judicial process to be used against people they disagree with. I think that's fine. But whenever you have people that are saying things like 8647, or anybody who's advocating for any form of extrajudicial justice,
100%.
yeah, extrajudicial justice, and basically vigilante justice on people who they disagree with politically, you have to realize that all of those people, I think, have made themselves acceptable targets. And I think that there's a lot and millions of people out there nowadays that see that. And I think that that should be extremely worrying for them. It should be terrifying. But the reality is that they have created that environment themselves through their own actions, through their behavior, and through their own words. You reap what you sow. And I think that things are about to get a whole lot worse. So anyway, guys, I wanted to make this video and talk about it. And that's about all I've got to say. So I hope to be back soon.
I hope his dad is okay too.
Here and there, but for the most part,
Also, it could be war with a country of murdered origins that can create chain reaction leading to a third world war. It could. Hopefully not. Like, I fucking hope not. You know?
This has to take priority.
That's,
I don't have a time frame. It will probably be a matter of weeks, and maybe not even that long until I'm back regularly. And so hopefully that's the case. Anyway,
hope
guys,
not.
thank you all so much for watching. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Another senseless death that never needed to happen. And
Yep.
I think that anybody who was talking about this and turning up the heat on any of this type of political rhetoric and discussing, or at least, flirting with the idea of political violence, I think all of those people have made themselves acceptable targets in all of the worst ways possible. And I don't think that this is a good thing either, but I think it's happened. So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon. Anyway, peace.
Let's read the comments. Emon, please hire private. You know what? I definitely do think Asmon should hire private security, because we already know he lives in Austin, Texas. We already, know about him. We know his house, and the sad thing is he is also another person that I wouldn't want someone to try to take out because of his views. I will say Asmon is neutral in a sense with this stuff, and yeah, he's just like, hey, this is what I think is right. This is what, he thinks with logic. He doesn't think with his emotions. He thinks with logic, These lunatics are dangerous. Please make sure you're safe. Let's look at some replies. He really needs to, ironically, because he's a big target. I don't see how he's a big target. He's not like on a MAGA point of view. He's just a logical sense point of view, He's probably got a claymore at the front door. You know what? He probably does. That's good. Silence is violence. Speech is violence. All they want is absolute compliance. Yep. This fucking... For no reason. Yeah, mainstream media caused all of this. Most definitely. Yeah, I'm glad he's spending time with his dad too. I hope his dad gets better. I know his dad's dealing with like pancreatic cancer and shit, and that's not a very high survival rate, unfortunately. So, and you can tell Asmon's tired. Like he's just fucking exhausted. And I mean, yeah, that could be true. You know, maybe they didn't kill him because uh, he had a different opinion. They probably killed him because he was able to shift young people towards the conservative side, and the Democrats felt like they were losing. So what do? They eliminate the threat. You know, well, instead of eliminating a threat, why don't you fucking get somebody that can actually debate as good as Charlie Kirk can, and have them stand up for your point of views and your morals and your ideologies for your party, and try harder, do better. Like, but they can't. Like Democrats fucking can't. Yeah, see, MSNBC needs to get shut the fuck down. Needs to get closed the fuck down. Charlie Kirk died doing what he did best, spewing hateful lies that riled up the base, leading expectation of his own. His own. May he rest in peace. So that's a little disrespectful because I don't think that he spewed up hateful lies. I think he just made good debates and came with facts, like always. And you know what? When he was wrong, he would always admit when he was wrong. And when he agreed with you with something, he would always admit that he agreed with you. Even if y'all are on two totally different opposite sides of the spectrum with point of view, he'd like arguing with you, debating you, not arguing, but debating. Well, I don't think that because this and that. And the other person would be like, yeah, but what about this? And he'd be like, well, you know what? Yeah, like that's actually a good idea. Like, you know, that is a great point of view you have there. And I think we could find a way to make that work. Like that was his whole point, you know? It wasn't because he was like, no, you're a fucking idiot, you're wrong, you're a retard, you deserve to die, like what the fuck's wrong? No, he never downplayed anyone for their beliefs. He just told them why he doesn't agree with it, and he gave them the reasons why. Nothing irritates and angers wrong person more than the truth on logical arguments. I mean, yeah, that's true, you know? Because the thing is like they're going to sit there and just start getting emotional and upset about it. Like, the truth is the truth, right? If we have a debate and we're debating, what's 9 plus 10? And you're like, 21? And I'm like, I don't agree with that. I think 9 plus 10 is 19. Because here's why. You can count 9 on all 10 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you can also count 10 on all 10 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you were to take this many and this many together, how many do you have? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Right? 19. Those are the facts. Those are called the hardcore cold facts. And you're like, yeah, no, I don't agree because fucking I saw a video of a little kid saying 21 and it's fucking 21, man. It's fucking 21, man. And then you start getting all upset and emotional about it. I know it's 21, man, because that's what I think. And then you just fucking... And then the other person is just staring at you. They're like, no, like logically it's 19. Yeah, well, we changed the meaning to 21, man. Like, that's what Vertebral's talking about. Is logical arguments. Yeah, America will never be the same. The pendulum has swung. You know, I'm in the middle of work today, and I saw that news, and I immediately got super upset. And then I saw the video, and I saw the close-up video, and it tore my fucking heart to pieces. We all needed to hear from you today. You know what? Sometimes we do need to. But you can't prove it's 21. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They can't prove it is 21. But I can prove it's 19, but they can't prove it's 21. Like, they never will ever be able to prove it's 21. Just tell me, why do you think it's 21? Like, no. Here's why. Because it's basic mathematical equations and adding numbers. Numbers exist. They were created. There's a numerical fucking alphabet of 0 through infinity and beyond. And there's a specific equation to add them together to get the specific number. Right? So, but people don't think that way. It's now people are just thinking with their emotions and their leaders like Schumer and Jeffries and talking heads at CNN and MSNBC, useful idiots like Swallow and Raskin, Murphy and AOC and the rest stomping around for decades screaming like they're losing our democracy is where the blame lies. This proves that talking will never work with these people. Now we find out how bad things get. And unfortunately, yeah. They tried to kill free speech today, but all they did was martyr him. And they are going to want to deal with the ramifications of it, and there will be ramifications. I definitely think there will be. The corporate media, along with activists, judges, and DAs, are complicit in this. Yep. There's not going to be a rash of conservative assassins, as cathartic as that sounds. Cathartic, as I can't fucking see my eyes, or I need to turn up my screen brightness. Actually, let's do that. There we go. All right, as cathartic as that sounds, they don't need to kill their opponents. They just need to let them speak. Bro, We let y'all speak, and all y'all do is fucking cry. Y'all don't ever come up with solutions. No solutions. It's just fucking crying and blaming. And saying, let me do it. Let me fucking... Maybe more people will come prepared for things to pop off. But conservatives don't see putting people like AOC or Hassan in crosshairs as a win. Why would they eliminate the things that give them the elections in the first place? Here's why. I'll tell you why they would. They would eliminate the things that give them the elections in the first place, because then everybody will just see things as normal, and there wouldn't be any backlash and you know, well, this is a far leftist point of view and this is why you should follow it and this is why. Like, they can eliminate that and get it out of people's mind, and people would quit thinking about this shit, and people would quit thinking about wanting to rebel, and people would quit fucking thinking about everything this other party does is wrong, right? They would eliminate those threats and that ideology if they can. I guarantee it. Like, the Republicans would totally do that, because at the end of the day, Republicans want it their way and Democrats want it their way. And unfortunately, excuse me, somebody got to go. And it was the wrong person today. The wrong person left today. But those are mathematical operations, and Kirk was talking about humanitarian topics that are more relied on emotions and personal experience than statistical law, like in science. That's why it's hard to put right thought in ignorant head. Yes, like, absolutely. You know, I do agree. Yeah, you know, I agree. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. I think of reasons why any political person might be killed by a lunatic, not Charlie Kirk. Everyone was better off with Charlie around. The entire world lost something special today. That is true. They call you a Nazi while trying to censor your speech and kill you for wrong think. What? For wrong think? That doesn't even make sense. Was a wrong person have a faith like that? I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I just... No. So they call you a Nazi while trying to censor your speech and kill you for wrong thinking, I think is what they meant. I'm tired of pretending like this is on both sides. It's very clearly is coming from the left, and if Kamala Harris or AOC got shot, they would be burning down America. That is 100% correct, right? These people are sick, and they prove every single day that they do not have America's interest at heart. That is fucking 100% true as well. Like, we're Americans. We are the United States of America. But yet, I just don't feel so united at all. I'm going to read a couple more of these, then I'm going to end the stream. I was only recording a 50-minute video for YouTube. So, I just wanted to talk about this and kind of get it off my chest. Yeah. see, this one says, I've seen some genuinely disgusting comments today. It's despicable what happened to Charlie. He wasn't even close to radical or extreme. And I agree with that. He really wasn't at all. Okay? I'm the only viewer currently, so yes, sir, no listeners anymore. Yeah. So he wasn't even close to radical or extreme. Okay? He was a standard middle of the park traditional conservative. That is right. And you know what? You know who else could have fucking killed him? It could have been a Palestine supporter. It could have been someone that said, you know what? Fuck him for saying Israel has the true right of the Holy Land and blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna fucking kill this motherfucker. That could be 100% true as well. You know? Because what happened today with Donald Trump at the restaurant? Free Palestine, fucking boycotted him and you know, right in front of him, protested him, like in the middle of the restaurant, and he stood there in front of their fucking face and was like, Donald Trump's a savage, you know. May God protect that man at all costs. And unfortunately, may God protect everyone that was like Charlie Kirk at all costs too. Yes, it could be a true fan of Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ, or a resident of a country that follows this agenda. Anybody. And that's the problem. It could be fucking anybody. We'll never know until they figure out who it was. And, you know, I just feel bad for his family. And he's never going to get to watch his little girls grow up. And he's never going to get to be alive again. Like, that is the cold, hard reality of the situation. And it fucking sucks. And again, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Democratic, gay, LGBT, hell, even Islamic, radikalist regime, unless they're terrorists, if they're just living their life, trying to live their best life and keeping their fucking, you know, thoughts out of business, or out of other people's business, I wouldn't wish that on them, you know? Like, fuck, dude, we fucking already did too much in Iraq and Afghanistan and shit. Like, some of those people didn't ask to be invaded. This is what really pissed me off, too. The Democrats yelling and shouting in Congress today when they asked to have a moment of silence and prayer for Charlie Kirk, and they all started yelling no. Dude, if I was the Speaker of the House, I literally would have been like, you know what the fuck is wrong with you people? Seriously, like every single last one of y'all. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, somebody just lost their fucking life today over some bullshit that we, as a party and political, like, stance can't figure out. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? You know? If it was any of y'all, we would have still fucking had a moment of silence and prayer for you. You know? Like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with those people? It's not like they're sitting there fucking trying to give out solutions anyway. They just wanted to bitch about some stupid shit that Trump's doing. But again, we can't say it was a Democrat that killed Charlie Kirk, unfortunately. It could have been anybody. It could have even been a Republican. It could have been someone he went to high school with. It could literally been anybody. It could have been an illegal immigrant. It could have been a foreigner. It could have been somebody, you know? Like, Democrats could just made a view that they care. Yeah, exactly. They could have just been like, yeah, you know what? We feel bad for the guy. This is not how we want to be clashing with the other party. Like, there's just so much clash, you know? And what I don't get is everybody loved Donald Trump until he came out as a Republican, and then people started fucking hating him. Well, you know what? Like, that's his beliefs. Like, he's still Donald Trump. Like, he's still fucking rich guy, smart business guy, possibly a fucking pervert, possibly did crazy things with Epstein, but there's no proof. Yes, he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein and shit. There's proof of that, but there's no proof that he ever sexually assaulted anybody or a child or a minor. So, I mean, yeah, people have their doubts about them not releasing the Epstein files. You know what? I'm sure a lot of fucking people's name are on that list, and I'm sure those files got erased a long fucking time ago. That's all I'm saying, you know? So, but we do know Donald Trump is, one, a fucking asshole, right? And you gotta love it, right? He's a fucking asshole big time, but he's awesome at being an asshole. So you gotta give him props for that. Two, he knows how to multiply your money. You know, he knows how to turn $5 into $500, and if he can turn $5 into $500, he can turn $500 million into $500 trillion. You know what I'm saying? Like, or into $500 billion. Like, he knows how to fucking manipulate his money, and he also knows how to manipulate the people that work with him and that work for him. And we know that he just gets shit done. Like, we know he's tired of bullshit. You know? We know he's old. He knows he's old. Nobody knows anything about Epstein Island and Trump's involvement. That's why I don't discuss it. And that's what I'm saying. We don't know. People, you can speculate all you want, but at the end of the day, there's no fucking proof about any of it, dude. So let it go. Quit focusing on it and let it fucking go. Let's worry about what he's worrying about. What is he worrying about right now? And why is he worrying about it? Okay, he's worrying about illegal immigrants in our country, and they're killing people for no fucking reason, and they're overtaking everything, and Americans can't live properly because of it. He wants to get rid of them? Oh, wait, you're telling me it was a fucking law for always? Yeah, but America was founding off of immigration. And look, let me tell you something, okay? When immigrants came to this fucking country, they came on boats and took them like 6 fucking months to get here, right? They were vetted as part of the process while on that boat to America. From Italy, from Britain, from wherever the fuck they came from on a boat, they were vetted. And they got their fucking papers done because they had so much time to sit there. And then, right, so you had 5 representatives on a boat with a boat of 400 people, or maybe it was 4 representatives and with 400 people. One representative took care of 100 people. The other representative took care of another 100. The other, so they had a group of 100. Each representative had a group of 100 people that they would take care of. Vet them all. They had 6 fucking months on a boat to get that process done. And they got paid boohoo bucks. 3 months to there, 3 months back, right? And then when they'd get off the boat, they would take those people and they would take them to a building, like kind of a holding place, and then they would get them situated with their current living situations. Like, hey, this is where you're going to live. Here's the list of jobs. Pick one. You got 72 hours, and then we'll get you all moved in. And then one by one, they got all the people moved in, and then those people had a social worker for the first year. And then after that year was up, after they were working and they were fucking living in America, right? And doing their job, they lost the social worker. The social worker's like, all right, cool, you don't need me anymore. Somebody else does. So good luck. That was how America's immigration became. They showed up on boats. We knew who the fuck they were, and we knew where they came from. And they had proper identifications. And we knew everything about their family. We knew so much shit about them because they were on a boat with somebody vetting them for 3 fucking months. Like, but now immigration, illegal immigration, is so fucking, like, not that way. People just cross the border, swim over, run into the street wild and naked and cross America, and then no one knows that they're here. And that's the fucking problem. It's not that we don't want you in America, because we do. Like, please, come over here and make a life for yourself. But we want you to do it the right way. We want to know who you are. We want to know where you came from. And we want to know why you're coming to America. And if we can get those answers, please, welcome. Come on in. Let's have a beer. Like, let's get to know you, you know? But when that's not the case, like, that's not the fucking case. Like, unfortunately, you're going to have to get the fuck out. Because it's illegal for you to be here without us knowing that you're here. Well, if you didn't know I was here, then how'd you find me? That's a good question. How did we find you? We just happened to stumble upon you. Hey, can I see some identification? Yeah, you're fucked. Goodbye. Get the fuck out of here, you know? Alright, guys. That's it with me today. Vertebral, you got anything else you want to say before I end this bad boy? The 90%, it was a citizen and the leftist fan. Oh, the 90%, it was a citizen and a leftist fan. You know better because you are living in the U.S. from childhood, because I'm not. Well, yeah. But you know what? Hey, if you ever decide to show up, or you said you're living in Germany right now, right? If you ever decide to come here, dude, by all means, come on. We would love to have you. You know? We would love for you to come experience all this stupid shit we're dealing with in person. Oh, okay, you're in Ukraine. Nice. Hell yeah. Well, hey, you know what? I pray that you stay safe. I pray that you and your family stay safe from the war, and that y'all, you know, working visa, nice. Yeah. But yeah, I pray that y'all stay safe and that the war with Russia can end, and, you know, hopefully y'all can get back to living prosperously and, you know, not having to live in fear every day. So, yeah, I pray for you. So, all right, y'all. That being said, thanks for stopping by. And YouTube, if you're watching this, we're, you know, I'll upload my Twitch stream. I just haven't done it yet. But upload my Twitch stream, and y'all can start watching me on Twitch. So, all right. Peace out.